just for intro, so I'm Richard O'Cone, surname's Ocone, and I'm an Assistant Chief Constable with Gloucestershire Constabulary.
Thank you.
Yeah, you good? Go now? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Assistant Chief Constable Richard O'Cone, the lead for operational policing in Gloucestershire. I'm going to read a statement about the incident in Tewkesbury this morning. Due to the fact a number of inquiries are ongoing, I hope you'll appreciate I won't be in a position to go into more detail at the end or take any further questions. Just after 9 a.m. this morning, we received a call from someone telling us about a threat to a teacher at Tewkesbury Academy. Minutes later, we received a call from the ambulance service telling us a male teacher had been stabbed in a corridor at the school. He was taken to hospital with a single stab wound and remains in a stable condition. It was initially thought that the suspect had fled the scene and hidden himself within the school grounds. Our officers, including specialist trained armed police, attended and carried out a thorough search. This search was both complex and meticulous in nature as we sought to ensure there were no further injured parties, as well as seeking the arrest of the suspect. The academy was locked down and 2 neighbouring schools were asked to close their doors as a precaution. Specialist resources, including the National Police Air Service and plainclothes officers, were deployed to search the wider area, and thanks to their efforts, the suspect was safely arrested by firearms officers in Stoke Orchard at 11 o'clock this morning. A knife was seized during that arrest. Searches have continued in order to ensure that there were no further casualties, and we can now confirm that no one else was injured in this attack. At this stage, the motivation behind the attack is unclear, and at this time, there is no evidence to suggest it is terrorism related. However, we are keeping an open mind while further inquiries are carried out. The suspect, a teenage boy from Tewkesbury, was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and remains in police custody. This was clearly a very distressing incident, and our thoughts are with the victim, their family, and everyone impacted by what happened here at the school. We are working with the school and other agencies to ensure appropriate support is available, and local people will see more police in the area over the coming days as the investigation continues. Thank you.
I can't move that. Yeah, that was an update there from Assistant Chief Constable, as you say, Richard O'Cone, giving us a bit more detail as to what unfolded here. As you said, extremely upsetting morning for the parents and the children inside the secondary school here, Tewkesbury Academy. We did learn some things there, that this was a specific threat to a teacher, that the police attended just after 9 o'clock after hearing from ambulance crews that a teacher had been stabbed in a corridor inside the school. Now, we heard confirmation that he is in a stable condition in hospital, this teacher. The suspect appears to have tried to flee the scene and potentially hidden on the school grounds. Police confirming what we've heard from some of the parents here, and indeed the children, that they saw armed police officers entering the academy. That was confirmed by police that it was indeed armed police came. They carried out a meticulous and complex search while the academy was locked down, and they were assisted by the police air service, National Police Air Service, and that there was an arrest a couple of hours later in Stoke Orchard, which is around about 10 minutes away from the school here, and that a teenager was arrested at 11 o'clock and a knife seen, not suspected to be terror related at the moment. And that teenage boy, from Tewkesbury, so a local boy, arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. An incredibly upsetting morning for all of those involved today. We've been speaking to parents who were texting their children some obviously as young as 11 years old, who were being kept inside their classrooms, which of course would have been an incredibly distressing situation for them, texting their children. We spoke to Sarah Penny, a mother whose 13-year-old daughter in year 8, Izzy, was telling her mum that we're stuck in the classroom, I'm really scared. They had guns. I saw armed police. And the mother, Sarah, who spoke to Sky News, saying that the police are there and sorting it. I love you so much. When we first arrived here this morning, around an hour or so after the incident happened, there were 100 or so parents on the opposite side of the road of the school, which is by a busy main road, actually only a minute or so off the M5. And as you can understand, they were extremely concerned and upset. The good news, of course, is that there were no pupils injured in this incident. But when you get a note from the school 10 minutes after the school bell goes, informing you that your child's school is in lockdown, and the procedure is, of course, don't come to the school, don't call us. But many parents, of course, came down here. They wanted to find their children, and we saw a very large police presence initially this morning, at least 3 or 4 ambulances. There were about 8 police officers at the entrance to the school gates while it was still locked down. Now, around 1 o'clock, the children were all released to their parents, and outside the school gates there were hundreds of parents pensively looking for their children, and lots of emotional reunions. As I say, thankfully no injuries amongst any pupils, but one of the male teachers, we understand, who hasn't been named yet, but from what we've heard, an incredibly popular teacher at the school, he remains in a stable condition. And this afternoon, a local teenage boy, now being questioned on suspicion of attempted murder.